Welcome back, everybody, to Not Funny Guys Presents News Radio Rewatch. I am your host, Dr. John. We are on episode 10, and we are cracking right along here in season 2. This week we have, or this episode, we have Station Sale and Bitch Session. So let's get into them. We start with Station Sale. This is written by, and this is right after we've come back from our, shall we say, Christmas holiday. We've got Leslie Chavany, Brian Kelly, Lewis Morton, Joe Furry, Josh Lieb, and Paul Simmons all in the writing credits. And this one is directed by Tommy Sharones. It aired on the 7th of January, 1996. And the summary goes like this. The SAP basically tries to convince Jimmy not to sell the station. At one point, we will see Bill misquote Alfred Lord Tennyson's Charge of the Light Brigade. He will attribute it to John Keats. Giving the fun fact that the day he gives is 1776. This is 19 years before Keats was born, and 78 years before the poem was actually published. And of course, Jimmy's wife candidate, we will meet here, as he is narrowed down to 29, guest stars Maureen Muller as Jane, his current one. So let's get into some highlights here. We have a conference table meeting. This is a kind of classic one here, about snacks and food sources, and apparently the snacks are for snacking, not your primary food source, yet that's what Beth does. Mr. James, though, says he has something to say. He's still looking for wife. He's gotten that candidate list down from 36 to 29, and Mr. James dismisses those who have real work to do. Everyone starts to leave, and what he really wants to tell them, he's planning to sell the station. Only Joe is sitting at this point, and everyone then comes back immediately upon him saying this, and he announced it to everyone. He's in a negotiation with a conglomerate that owns a bunch of AM stations, the Robertsons Group. Everyone's quite shocked. Mr. James leaves for the negotiation, and everyone's left very sad. Matthew, though, gets quite angry about this and starts a no sale chant that no one joins in. In the office, Dave and Lisa are trying to figure out who the Robertson people are. They're afraid of that. Are they the kind of people who fire people when they take over a station? Lisa's a kind of don't panic, and then goes on an imaginary rant about them changing the format. This is when Joe joins them, and he knows who these people are, apparently. He tells them that he last time they fired half the staff and made everyone else take pay cuts for the last station they bought. Now we get a game of telephone. Beth comes in. She heard the Robertsons do a pay cut and make everybody get haircuts. Catherine then comes in, eliminated half the staff, and made everyone eat cold cuts. Like I said, wonderful game of telephone. Bill is not worried at all because he is very adaptable, and he shows them all his adaptabilities, and for whatever format they make this radio station, he can handle it. Spanish-speaking ability is actually perhaps his most interesting one. Matthew's not having it. He wants everybody to wear black armbands. He's only got 2 of them right now. He has one on him. He puts one on Bill. It's his socks. This is when he turns to Bill, who tells him he should handcuff himself to the desk. And he then worries about going to the bathroom. So he's going to do the chair. And this is when the whole misattributed quote, "Yours is not to reason why, yours is but to do or die," that Bill misquotes Charge of the Light Brigade. Of course, because I said he was worried about the bathroom, so he handcuffs himself to the chair and announces to everyone. Mr. James comes in, sees that he's cuffed himself to the chair. He thinks it's a magic trick. It's not. It's a protest, and he, disappointed, walks away. The Robertson people are coming for a walkthrough. Apparently, Mr. James is allowing it, and when a representative comes in, it's a tall blonde woman named Jane Robertson, and she's single. And Dave immediately clocks what this is. This is a wife candidate. Mr. James owns up to it. Not originally what he was going for, but he's kind of into her. And Dave calls him a whore. He's not planning on selling the station. He just wants to get into the negotiations and see if something romantic develops. It's a very interesting strategy. Dave gives him till the end of the day. He even helps him sort of spruce him up a little bit to go do this at the elevator. Back in the break room, we find Lisa, Beth, Bill, Matthew, and Catherine talking about sticking together. Bill wants to lead a splinter faction to go off by themselves and comes in and reveals the whole thing. But first he listens to all the paranoid ramblings. Everyone calms down. Bill lets Matthew know the keys are on the top shelf, and so Matthew is now struggling to get to them as we leave. Nice physical comedy gag. Mr. James comes back to Dave. He didn't get anywhere with Jane. She broke his heart because apparently she gave him an offer he couldn't refuse. And he has this piece of paper. And he's like, it's like that. And then he's like, rest of, oh my, all the zeros. Yeah, it's a very large sum of money. We never really find out what it is, but it's apparently, I'm assuming, several $1,000,000. Tells Dave he's selling the station. Talk to the staff in the bullpen. Joe is apparently stealing parts to sabotage to make himself unfireable. Matthew is still cuffed to the chair. Mr. James he's open to being talked out of the sale by the crew, and he's like going to give them 5 minutes. He ends up giving them 7 hours. And Joe thinks that they forgot to say please when asking. He's like, no, it's not that magic word. Matthew thinks the deadline is midnight, which it is. He says that's not a real thing, Then Dave tries to get him to flip coins, 4 out of 7 before no one's winning. Beth, though, is the winner. She offers to give him all her money, $49 that she has. She negotiates down from 60 with Mr. James. He is a softie. He takes Beth's deal and calls off the deal with Jane. $49 total and some ABC gum that she's been chewing on. He thinks this is the greatest deal ever. He's like, look, you don't understand. This is what it means a lot. Dave takes everyone out to get drunk. Matthew gets back, and Bill, he finally gets back at Bill. This is great. Bill's like, handcuffs, and he's cuffed Bill's ankle to the desk. Boom. Mr. James explains himself to Dave in the office, and that Beth's deal was unique. That's why he took it. Dave wants him to admit that he loves him. He negotiates the deal with Dave for $8, and then he tells him that he's a real softie. Still all business. But fun little episode, tight episode. I think it's a lot of fun. It continues our ongoing little background story. We might even call it like a storyline C or a storyline D of Mr. James's pursuit of a wife. The amount of things, the elevator situation is pretty hilarious as well, because Joe is stealing parts from everywhere, and he doesn't know what they do. But it really does reveal a nice character study in Mr. James, in that he really does care about these people, but he loves a good negotiation. But let's move on to our next episode. So our next episode is Bitch Session. This is written by Brian Kelly and directed by James Barrows. This first aired on the 14th of January, 1996. And the basic premise of this story is that Dave accidentally overhears the staff complaining about him, and it sets up a whole chain of events. So our highlights are this. Dave is in his office. He's there and there with Joe, trying to get his phone fixed. The jack keeps coming undone, and it keeps causing a situation where he hangs up on people. It's broke. Joe wants to do his classic thing of, I can rig up something for you, and Dave is very hesitant. He doesn't like to rely on new parts, apparently, just handmade stuff. Bill walks in thinking something is dirty because Joe is down on his knees underneath the desk, and he pops up when he comes in there, and Dave is... yeah, you get where it's going. Offers Joe $20 and he leaves to help Bill. Bill wants him, though, to do the same thing, rig him up a voice modulator. Offers to build him one, rig it up in the mixing board. Go into the booth, they're fidgeting with the soundboard, makes his voice squeaky, help mess with Matthew through the intercom, makes him spill his own coffee at one point. He does it to himself, really, when Beth asks him what time it is, he does it all over his shirt. Later, Dave tells people the station will no longer pick up their cab fares when they're working late, and everybody's not happy about it. So he's had to deliver some bad news. Joe shows Bill the modulator he's built for him. Bill is unsure. The liberal use of paper clips and his own duct tape, his homemade duct tape. And this is our storyline B to go along with storyline A about what's about to happen with Dave. They go into the booth. Joe hooks it up. Bill's voice is now hyper deep, like Barry White. In fact, it's Catherine's voice, too. The soundboard then fritzes out, though. Dave in his office loses a phone call because Joe hasn't really fixed the phone. Dave now is late for a dental appointment. He goes under his desk to try and fix the phone, and no one sees him. Matthew and Joe start bitching about Dave in the office, and he can hear them. He's under the table, not intentionally, and they're mocking him. So this is our storyline A, that no one respects Dave. Beth comes in, and apparently they keep a track of his shifting the mug in his hand during meetings and everything. Catherine comes in, and she's keeping track herself of some things. Even Lisa is in on it to some. They want Lisa to tell them Dave buys his suits the little boys department. Catherine, though, walks behind the desk and she sees Dave, and she tries to like bail herself out. Finally, Bill comes in and does a one-act play with Beth, where he's on his knees pretending to be shorter. Comedy or tragedy, you decide. Everyone leaves, and they do this apparently every day. Dave reaches over once they've all left, gets his phone, and calls his mom. Ah, poor Dave. Dave meets up with Mr. James for lunch. He's told him this stuff. Mr. James inquires about his mom's marital status. Still married to my dad. Dave feels unloved. He feels disrespected. Mr. James tries to pep him up. They've gotten a little drunk, though. Starts yelling out to people in the restaurant. Something about said, I think it was Lisa said he looked like a 14-year-old boy in a suit. And about the gestures with the mug. And Mr. James tells him he needs him to thicker skin. Mr. James wants him to toughen up. Tells Dave to confront the staff. He can't thicken up. Both are quite tipsy now. Back at the office, Mr. James is coaching Dave, and he's still quite tipsy. He does. Jimmy is tipsy. Everybody, they're both kind of a little loose. Everyone says no about that when he confronts about them, making fun of him. Claims he felt like they might be coming, that he might be coming off as an insane Norman Rockwell Bible school boy maniac, parroting Lisa's lines basically right back to her. Everyone figures out that when he announces he overheard them, hiding under his desk. Now, this is where things start to fall apart, because now they are mad that he listened in on them, not intentionally. And apparently he didn't tell Mr. James this part. It wasn't intentional. He bails on Dave now. Lisa comes to see Dave in his lying on his desk, like face down. Saving up for a big sale at Baby Gap is his response. She tries to smooth things over with him. He's quite a little bit hungover now. Back in the booth, Joe is still trying to work on the voice modulator with Bill. He nails it this time, deepens his voice. Joe leaves triumphant, but really it was Bill doing it. He deepened his own voice. And he said the reason he wanted a modulator, and this is the resolution of the storyline B, is that when he does it the way he did it to make it sound like Joe had been successful, it gives him intense headaches and leads to blackouts. Yes, now everyone now is later on at the corporate office, minus Dave and Lisa, who apparently had a fight. This is a fallout from their confrontation in his office. Mr. James wants to fix the situation. Everybody's complaining when Mr. James offers to replace Dave. He said all of a sudden, everyone changes their tune. It's like, no, we don't want him fired. They want to let go. Matthew then stands up, is the first to stand up to try and support Dave. Bill vouches for him, and everyone else praises him to Mr. James. Mr. James agrees to keep Dave, but they have to keep their little bitch sessions more discreet in the future. Turns out Dave was hiding behind the thing, and Mr. James was there letting him overhear all of it. And then he asks him about, getting things back together with Lisa. Dave is uncertain. Dave leaves, and Lisa's hiding behind another curtain. And she says she'll figure it out. She has her ways. So again, a fun little one, but like who doesn't rant and make little things about their boss? I'm pretty sure in my job there are people who have little qualms and complaints about me. I know I do it. So I think we could all relate to this one. But that brings us to the end of our episode. Next time it's In Through the Outdoor, and the song remains the same. As I was saying, Bo, in the meantime, come back for more. Remember, like, subscribe, share, comment. We want to hear from you guys. More specifically, you can reach out to us directly at notfunnyguys.offthereels@gmail.com. And our social medias are down in the description. The email is in the ticker right now. We want to hear from you. What do you like? The ideas here. Is there certain things you'd like me to take into consideration, to cover, to work on? I'm open to that kind of stuff here. I want to be so we're doing a crowd pleasing thing here going on right now. Throw in some audience. So I'm more open to letting you guys throw some input at me, and I welcome it. I also welcome your criticisms. I guarantee, though, that I might just ignore them. But that's my decision. However, in the meantime, if you would like to check out some more Not Funny stuff, of course, we have right behind me our main podcast, Not Funny Guys Presents Off the Reels, where we talk about movie. We do the TV stuff over here, and I'm working on stuff going forward. I'm sort of trying to plan out some of the shows we might cover next. And again, I wanted to hint back to the fact that, if you have ideas about mixing it up and jumping between shows, we can do that too. But getting back to the main podcast, the movie, Not Funny Guys Presents Off the Reels. That's where we talk about the movies. We're currently in the beginning stages of tackling all of the Mission Impossible movies. So a lot of Tom Cruise running. That'll be a good way for us to date this podcast or this YouTube channel episode. Additionally, if that's not your cup of tea, we also have my Not Funny colleagues, Casey and Eric. They also do another podcast, Not Funny Guys Presents Wrestling with the Horror of It All, where they talk about wrestling, pro wrestling, WWE, and they do horror movies over there. And finally, if that's not your cup of tea, we do have one other. That is myself, Dr. John, and our Not Funny gal, Dr. Kristen. We do a podcast, Not Funny Guys Presents Thinking About Thinking, where we talk about a full range of things, basically whatever we're thinking about, whether that be AI, culture, patriotism, whatever. There's nothing off limits there. It just matters what we are digging into, and we use it as a chance to bounce ideas. So, like I said, like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. And until next time, remember to keep it not funny.